2021. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Present.
Councilwoman Iguodaro,
I'm here.
Councilwoman Wilson, Councilwoman Julian,
Here.
Councilman Stevens,
Here.
Vice Mayor Leon,
Here.
Mayor Harris.
I'm present.
You have a quorum.
Please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
God our Father, we thank you for your love towards us. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. Father, we pray now as we get ready to discuss your business that affects your people, that you give us your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding. We ask a special blessing upon the city of Miami Gardens and its residents as well as leadership. Continue to bless us, and these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're on approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposition? We're on all order of business. Any items that need to be pulled from the consent agenda at this time? or
Mr.
added?
Mayor? Yes. 11.2.
Which one?
11.2.
11-2?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clerk, show that pull.
Okay. Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to go ahead and withdraw 12.2 from the agenda.
And 12.2 pull, withdrawn?
Yes, sir.
Did anything else need to be pulled, added, or?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
given that we gave the presentation in the workshop regarding 12.1, I would ask the mayor and council members to consider it as a consent item.
That they accept the item?
Consider it as a consent item.
Consent item? Okay, can we
And-
move that?
And also, Mr. Mayor, I was, excuse me? Okay.
So that'll be added to consent as 11.4.
Yes.
Additionally to that, Mr. Mayor, I was asked by Councilwoman Wilson if she could be a co-sponsor to that item, and I'm fine with that as the manager.
Co-sponsor for
All
which
right,
item?
so that's
Which item?
12.1 is going to now be 11.4, and Councilwoman Wilson will be added as a co-sponsor of that item.
Duly noted.
It's moved to the consent agenda, correct?
Yes, sir.
Anything else need to be added or pulled? I need a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Motion.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Showing no opposition. Show it completed. All right. We're on special presentations.
Item 6.1, special presentation by Councilwoman Shannon Campbell.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, as we realize that this month is Women's History Month, so me being me, I have to love on my ladies. So I wanted to present something special coming from me to my colleagues, and I have Councilwoman Linda Julian, Councilwoman Katrina Wilson, Councilwoman Shannon Iguodaro, and we also have other staff members that are a part of our beautiful city here. We have Assistant City Manager Benita Nelson, and we have our amazing City Attorney, Ms. Sonia Dickens, and we also have our Chief, Ms. Noelle Pratt, And we also have 2 acting assisting female chiefs. That's awesome. We have Major Robin Starks and Major Audrey Coney Brown. And if you all could kind of join me up front so we can get a quick photo, and I have a special gift from me to all of you, and I love all of you.
Quick photo. You want us to do
Yes.
that? Or you want us to pass it out? Please?
Yes, please.
So we can do a photo?
Yeah. You need help to pass it out?
Y'all know I'm photo bombing. Great job, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Clerk, were there any public comments?
Yes, we do have individuals registered for public comments. The first one is Gail Cunningham.
All right, public comments is now open. Ms. Cunningham? Ms. Cunningham,
Yes, I'm here. Yep.
we barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We hear you if everybody here will be,
Okay.
you'll probably be able to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Ms. Cunningham.
Okay. This is coming, Gail Cunningham, 19001 Northwest 14th Avenue Road.
No, we hold on a second, Ms. Cunningham. We're gonna
Yes.
need for the volume to be put up a little bit more.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Hold on, they're working on getting the volume turned up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you try that again?
Hello?
All right, we hear you now, Ms. Cunningham.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Gail Cunningham, 19001 Northwest 14th Avenue Road, Miami Gardens 33169. I'm speaking from City Council Agenda Item 11.4, Staff Summary Agenda Item, Connect Pilot Recreation Program, which is Parks After Dark, PAD. An excerpt from the summary. As part of the planning for these ordinances, community stakeholders agreed it was necessary to also address the needs of the adults currently congregating at these off-premises establishments that would be displaced. Who were the stakeholders? When the curfew for the pandemic was issued, the crime element decreased significantly. Why would we create an environment that would attract a suspect element in and to our city? Who were the stakeholders that agreed in the planning stages? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham.
All right, Mr. Mayor, the next speaker is Tracy Bailey.
Ms. Bailey?
Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello?
Ms. Bailey?
Hello?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, great. My name is Tracy Ann Bailey. My address is 295 Northwest 190th Street, Miami Gardens, 33169. I do have 3 questions to pose, and I am being told that you may not be able to answer them, but someone may get back to me on them. The first question is,
Definitely somebody will get back to you.
Okay. I have concerns regarding safety in our community. I noticed lately there's been an excess amount of speeding that's happening between 191st and 183rd, and I am at 190.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bailey. We still can't hear you as well. Hold on one second.
Sure.
Talking to your phone.
I'm on my laptop. I'm speaking directly into it.
Okay, now you're fine.
Now I'm better? Great.
Yes.
All right, so I'm addressing the issue of safety. One concern is I noticed that there's been a lot of speeding, a lot of vehicles making donuts in the middle of our residential areas with no care for our children. And I'm concerned because I don't see law enforcement presence as much as I used to. And that's lately. I can find law enforcement at the gas station, but I don't see them policing the neighborhood as often as I used to. And I wondered if there's anything in place for the speeding, be it speed bumps, speed traps, what's going on with that, and who would I need to speak to address that? My second question goes to the illumination of our city streets. I was told by Director Ruiz that that was something that they were working on, but I have not received a formal or a projected date of completion or that it's going to even begin. And I'm growing really concerned when it comes to safety in my neighborhood. I no longer feel comfortable going out to walk, to exercise in the evening hours because I can't see, and with the time change now that may help, but I'm not able to do that. And I would love to have that issue addressed to let us know what's going on there, to get an update. And then my third concern, which I also addressed with Director Ruiz, was our septic system in this area. At one point, I was told that we're going to eventually be transferred to the city. I've been here 18 years in this house, and I have not been able to get that done or hear anything about it. So I would love to hear my councilman, Mr. Leon, make contact with me or hear what's going on with that so we can get an update.
Okay, those are the 3 questions you had.
That's it.
Okay, we'll have someone to contact you.
I thank you so very much for your time.
You're so very welcome.
All right, Mr. Mayor, now I have one written communication received. This written communication was received from Rhea Hughes. Address is 3335 Northwest 180th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. And their written communication states, referencing Resolution 12.1 sponsored by the city manager for the approval of a 12-month pilot recreation program at Myrtle Grove Park. As a resident of the city of Miami Gardens, I'm requesting this proposed item be pulled due to a need for clarity and discussion of the objective, long-term goals, and benefits to the residents of the city. This request for clarity, discussion, and review of supportive documents should be directed to and inclusive of residents of the city, city council persons, and city manager. I look forward to a timely response from both the city manager and Councilwoman Katrina Wilson tonight, and or moving forward in the immediate future. On another note, I'm in favor of the interlocal agreement for traffic calming devices to be the responsibility of the city of Miami Gardens. And that's their public comment.
All right, thank you.
And then
Any other comments?
there's no more public comments, nor do we have anybody in the waiting area to provide some public comments.
All right. Show public comments is closed at this time.
All right. There are no ordinances on for first reading, no ordinances on for second reading, no resolutions, public hearings. Item 11, consent agenda. Item 11.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to execute a license agreement with World Safe First to utilize city-owned property in order to administer COVID-19 vaccinations to Miami Gardens residents, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Vice Mayor Reggie Leon. Item 11.3, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizes the city manager and city clerk to execute and attest respectively that certain joinder and consent of mortgage agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation to facilitate the construction of a sidewalk at the Jesse Trice Community Health Center, a copy of which is attached here to as Exhibit A, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.4, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, approving a 12-month pilot recreation program, CMG Connect, at Myrtle Grove Park, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is co-sponsored by Councilwoman Katrina Wilson and the city manager, and that is your consent agenda.
I need a motion on the consent agenda.
Motion. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of adopting the agenda as it is, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed? Show the item pass, or show the consent agenda passes.
The next item is item 11.2, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds for Councilman Stevens' public affairs account in an amount not to exceed $2,000 to the Miami Gardens Higher Education Initiative, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilman Robert Stevens.
And it was pulled by Councilwoman Iguodaro.
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. I have a comment and a couple of questions. First of all, let me be clear that as a former scholarship recipient myself, I understand and appreciate the value of a quality education and the need to provide support for our young folks who are in college. Question, Councilman Stevens. Is this a program of the city or an outside agency?
It's a program of the city.
Okay. What is the return on investment to the city for this program? And another question, who is the manager of the program? Is there going to be a selection committee? And if so, who picks the selection committee? Are the Miami Gardens employees going to do it? If so, how much staff time is going to be expended for managing this program?
I'm going to answer through the mayor. I'm going to answer your questions backward. The first to your last question, through the manager's office, a committee would be made up of employees of the city. I believe the manager would be able to give more information as it relates to the time that's going to be required for the employees. I don't see it being excessive. However, the committee is made up of employees throughout the different departments of our city. Can you elaborate on your first question?
The return on investment to the city.
Yes.
The program.
Can you elaborate?
No, I'm asking you the question.
Right, you're asking me the question, but in order for me to clearly answer your question, I'm asking for you to elaborate on it.
Okay, I'll repeat the question. What is the return on investment to the city of Miami Gardens for the scholarship program?
Okay. And at this point, I ask that you elaborate again so that I can have a clear understanding as it relates to what it is that you're asking. Because if you want me to go ahead and just answer what you're saying, I would say the return of it is to encourage our residents to return back to the city of Miami Gardens to participate in the economy after graduation. As we all know, when we talk about having a thriving economy and moving our city forward, education must be at the forefront. It must be a part of the communication. Must be a part of the plan. When you talk about advancing the city, everyone know in order to have a thriving economy, you must have a thriving education system. And this Miami Gardens Education Initiative would provide our residents the opportunity to advance their studies, matriculate to universities, colleges, four-year community college, as well as vocational programming. So I believe the resource that the city would benefit by the students returning, resident returning back to the city of Miami Gardens, so that we can have a stronger retention rate as it relates to advancing our city.
Thank you for your response. Mr. Manager, what is the status of the city's, to the mayor, sorry. Mr. Manager, what is the status of the city's education compact? And what were the challenges that made the compact to be defunct?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
I am not sure where we are with that. If the councilwoman wouldn't mind, I would like to take some time to look at that information and provide that at a later time.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. And while you're doing the research, in the terms of this particular program, that's a city program, as the councilman said, how do we ensure that we don't start something that we cannot continue? In other words, what is the sustainability of the program? I'd like to have that answer. I will not be supporting this program, not because I don't support scholarships, but because I am not clear about the return on investment to the city for this program, and I am definitely not comfortable with how this program is to be coordinated and managed. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. I need a motion on this item.
Motion. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify.
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
No opposition?
No, I already said I'm not going to vote, not to support the item.
So that's no.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Show the item passes.
All right, there are no items for quasi judicial hearings. We're now on to the reports of the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk.
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I have Ms. LaBruce to do just a quick report regarding the Miami Gardens Get Moving project. And after that, Mr. Mayor, I won't have any other reports. Thank you.
Good evening again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. We just wanted to share with you this evening a program that we've been working on for some time. It's called Get Moving Miami Gardens. It is part of our physical activity work through Live Healthy Miami Gardens in partnership with the Health Foundation of South Florida and Urban Health Partnerships. Over the past 5 years, we've been working to look at our environment and to figure out what we can do differently to make our streets safer and more conducive to physical activity. There's been several projects that we've completed over the last 5 years. One is that we've worked with staff to implement into our comprehensive development master plan updated language that will include complete street elements. We've also have worked with our staff to hire a firm, Kimberly Horn to be specific, to look at developing an entertainment overlay, looking at 27th Avenue. We've also worked with staff to develop a master mobility plan. This is a plan that lays out all of the projects for the city in regards to mobility, and that lays out a comprehensive approach for how to improve mobility in Miami Gardens. And we have also developed a community action plan that connects health to the built environment and its impact on residents' well-being. All of this we've done to really encourage the city to think about all modes of transportation as they look at environment and they look at development for the city, so that the city is not just safe for cars, but it's safe for walkers and bikers and everyone who wants to use our streets. The Get Moving project is a concept which combines the work of the 27th Avenue, the mobility plan, and the wayfinding elements. The goal is to engage residents by implementing tactical urbanism changes that highlight opportunities for long-term change. It is focused on creating and activating a walking and biking route from City Hall along Northwest 187th Street. And the project will result in temporary physical improvements that will allow community members to engage with potential improvements, provide feedback, and identify effective permanent changes that can be made in the future. This is Sunny. Sunny was actually developed by one of our students at one of our local schools. He is like the mascot for this work. And Sunny's role is to kind of introduce these different routes to our community. Through our Safe Routes to School program, we've used Sunny to actually encourage our students to walk and bike to school versus being driven to school. And that project has really had some great success in improving physical activity as well as mental health. The destination that we're focused on in the area of zip code 33056. And this was identified primarily because of the higher need due to the number of chronic diseases and higher reliance on public transportation. All of the data that we looked at, every single data point that we looked at in terms of health and wellness, this zip code just kept being the most highlighted one in terms of the needs for that particular segment of our city. Here are some examples of the wayfinding signs that we've done around the city to, again, bring attention to certain elements and bring attention to the city as a whole. As you know, the city is really beautiful. We've got amazing walking paths. We have tremendous parks that are comparable to some of the best parks internationally that are available in our country and beyond. And so we really have been using these signs to highlight, what the assets are in our city. In terms of this particular project, the City Hall elements will include decorated sidewalks. I think you all probably have noticed the one sidewalk that has already been decorated as you're making your way from the parking lot into City Hall. There's a demonstration part as well, and then the project will also highlight and build awareness of proposed future improvements for the 27th Avenue overlay, 27th Avenue Entertainment District. What we're really hoping is that through these demonstration projects, we will think about as we build other big, as we build other big developments and make big investments, something like the entertainment overlay, we'll consider how to activate that area so that people can walk to it and feel safe in doing so and be conducive to doing so, can bike to it and not just think about driving as the only mode of transportation. So the demonstration park will align with 27th Avenue. The design is based on technical urbanism concepts, which is a CDC best practice. Is intended to engage community and to activate the area. And residents, visitors, and staff will be able to experience the demonstration park by strolling through the area and reading and interacting signage that will provide information on specific plants and how parks can impact the health of our community. Here is a visual of what we're thinking about or what has been designed. It was created by a local artist who runs Paint with Faith. And the design is inspired by the 27th Avenue design that was developed by Kimberly Horn in the city, and several departments engaged with us to put this design into place. And there's consistently consensus around, the look and feel so that it complements, some of the other elements that already exist within the city. So in terms of next steps, we are looking to continue the Enhancing Mobility project. We would like to be able to do a pilot bike share program. This will include researching and assessing, looking at all of the different companies that do this and selecting the best company. And then based on recommendations, we would come back and make recommendations based on best practices and lessons learned from other cities. This is happening in other cities across the country and across the county, as you know. And so we think that our city is quite suited, for a project like this. I don't know if you have any questions. questions?
That's it?
Yes, that's it.
I was excited, looking for more.
No, that's it. We have a whole lot more, just not tonight.
Thank you. That was some lovely art.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Huh? You had a question?
Just one.
Oh,
Not
Ms.
so much,
LaBruce?
not so much with what your presentation is. When you talk about the artwork, as I ride by Carroll City Middle School, that is some amazing artwork. So is there a way we can, who's the artist? I'm just curious. Can we find that out, anybody?
I'm sorry, is there a way to do what?
To find out who's the artist, the one, whoever did the artwork at Carroll City Middle School. It's
Sure.
beautiful.
I can find out and send that to you. I don't know who that is, but we'll get
Just
find out.
curious, just out of curiosity.
Okay, sure.
No other report, Mr. Manager?
No report. Thank you, Mayor.
Madam Attorney?
No report.
Mr. Clerk?
No report.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me first start off my report by wishing our mayor a happy birthday, as well as our councilwoman Wilson this weekend. Her birthday is coming up as well. Happy birthday. You all are getting younger.
Very much so.
Thank you to our Vice Mayor, Reggie Leon, our Miami-Dade County Commissioner, Vice Chair Oliver Gilbert, our Police Department, Park staff, Break the Cycle Organization, and Coca-Cola Florida for their participation in this in our past Fitness Challenge bike ride. It was a really good ride, although our city manager almost didn't make it.
Said the man that turned off and went home.
I almost didn't make it in, for the record. I ain't gonna leave you out there, Mr. Manager. I got you. And also this past weekend, most recent, we had a huge success boot camp with ICANN Fitness. That event was in partnership with our Vice Mayor and our County Commissioner, Vice Chair as well. Thank you to everyone that participated. It was good. It was really good as we bring our fitness challenge to a close. I want to share something that I read this morning that I came across, and it was in reference to comments that was made by residents this evening as it relates to the traffic in our city. It's something that we need to make sure we pay close attention to because speeding it's a serious issue in our community. The Miami Herald released an article this morning entitled "Walking is Hazard to Your Health in Florida, the Deadliest State for Pedestrians." The article indicates that drivers hit and kill 53,435 pedestrians, more than 17 people per day on average throughout the country between 2010 and 2019. This is an issue that we have in our city, and we must do everything possible to solve these issues. If that's coming up with initiatives through our police department, the interlocal agreement with Miami-Dade County that we can take control over what's happening within our city. Every city has to stand up, and I don't want Miami Gardens to be left out of this solving the issues as it relates to a life and death for our residents. When we have residents complaining about not being able to go outside and properly walk around the street because they're afraid of someone going to speed and hit them, that's an issue, and it's something that we must take care of. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That ends my report.
Councilwoman Iguodaro?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Julia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For Women's History Month, I am having an online panel discussion on March 30th to celebrate and highlight some of our women entrepreneurs here in Miami Gardens, and to also highlight and celebrate my fellow council women. Councilwoman Campbell, Councilwoman Wilson, and Councilwoman Iguodaro, you received an invitation from my analyst, Natalia, and I hope that you will join me in this endeavor. Thank you.
You failed to introduce your new analyst.
I did. Shame on me.
Shame on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this moment to introduce my new analyst, okay, the latest to join the Miami Gardens family, Natalia Ali. Natalia started with us yesterday. Natalia, stand up. And I am very excited to have Natalia. She joins us from the city of Miami Beach.
Welcome, Natalia. And Councilwoman Iguodaro. We forgot
Mr.
your
Mayor. Thank you,
new
Mr.
person.
Mayor. Thank you. I appreciate it. I would like to take this opportunity additionally to introduce my legislative aide, Mr. Vernon Martin. Mr. Martin is no stranger to hard work. Mr. Martin, please stand up and be recognized.
Welcome to you as well, to the Miami Gardens family, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great.
Do you still have a report? Go ahead.
Hey, it's in my DNA.
Hey.
All right. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a few things I need to report on. Number one, I'm starting with the Progressive Young Adult Committee. I want to thank my colleague, Councilwoman Wilson. She not only got me one, but three people, and I thank you. And I'm calling on my other colleagues, Mr. Stevens.
No, my names were submitted through Councilwoman Wilson. Y'all figured, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Iguodaro, Councilwoman Iguodaro, Vice Mayor Leon, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Linda Jr.
Yes,
All right. All right, we want to get that because we need to have representation of our young people, get it moving. We got some great things lined up for them. And I'm glad to wear that hat and own it. And we're going to see things get popping as soon as I get those names.
Mr. Mayor, how many are you looking for, Councilwoman?
I'm looking for each of you to at least one person, but if you got more, that's even sweeter.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Is this a committee?
Yes, it's gonna be.
Oh.
Excuse me through the mayor.
Yeah, hold on a second. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Just to know, it is a committee of the council. So any council members who's making an appointment to that committee, be sure to submit that to my office so that we can go ahead and get the committee rolling. So if you guys have individual appointments, please send them to me individually.
Is this a newly formed committee, or is this a committee
It was
that's been?
inactive.
This is a committee that's already codified in our code of ordinances.
Okay, all right. No problem.
All right. Okay. And I'm super excited about a collaboration with the Keep Miami Gardens Beautiful and the Great American Cleanup. Just to give you a little background on Keeping America Beautiful, they celebrate the Great American Cleanup every year, and this is the 23rd year they're doing it, and it always kicks off on March 20th. So I'm happy to say that they're kickstarting it right here in our backyard, well, in Miami Gardens, my backyard, which is, we're now in All-American City. So I'm super excited about that. So we're gonna get that started. The flyer has been e-blasted. We need volunteers. You can call my office or the number that's on the flyer. And let's get involved with keeping our community clean and something that's gonna be positively affecting our community.
And when is this again?
The 20th at 8 a.m. Okay, I also want to wish a happy birthday to my colleagues, Mr. Mayor and Councilwoman Katrina Wilson.
Thank you.
Have fun celebrating. And my town hall. As you guys saw a moment ago, this is Women's History Month, okay? I'm gonna have a very special guest. All my guests are special, but I have a very special guest. We're gonna have the Honorable Shirley Gibson on my town hall. So if you want to hear from her, she's coming with the boom. So I advise you all, don't miss this one. Don't miss it. All right, and that is March 16th, 6:30. That has also been e-blast out, but I'm telling you, tune in. And I think that's all I have for my reports.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes. I would like to use my report as a time to make a comment about the board item, the council item, I think it's 12.1 that went to 11.4, if I'm not mistaken. You know, one of the things that I believe is extremely important to a strong and healthy city is not only just the health that takes place physically, but it's the mental, emotional, and I would even say socialization health. And one population that I have constantly seen lack a place to socialize effectively are Black men. Black men in our community oftentimes are seen as an eyesore along the side of roads, hanging out at stores, and sometimes are viewed as being illegal, you know, hanging out in abandoned stores like the old bait and tackle store. And we rustled them along and we moved them away. And when we talk to law enforcement and we ask the question, are they doing anything illegal? The answer more often than not is no. And so when I inquired about the fact as to where do these men go to receive their own socialization, do they go to the parks? Do they have a place where they can gather and put some ribs on the grill and watch a football game together? And I got a lot of different answers. And some people said they need to go home. And so I started to look around and I started to say, where are the Black men and where do they socialize? We as women have it. The children have it. The seniors have it, but the Black men don't. And so when someone says to me, why Myrtle Grove Park? I say, why not? Why is that not a place that we can begin to do some work for the men that we know, in some instances, that the Black Lives Matter movement was founded about? The men that we know are incarcerated at greater numbers. The men that we know that come from the veterans and probably need services. The men that we know went to school together and just like playing checkers or dominoes. Or the men that we know who said, our friend died, let us gather and celebrate that life. We have no real organized place for them. And so when we're coming on our way on 207 and the road is blocked because they want to play checkers, but they don't want to necessarily go with the underage children at the park. When we see them at the bait and tackle store or on 175th Street under the tree across from the store, we want to call the police on them. When we go to Bunch Park and they're at the store or on 191 and they're across the street from Carroll City, and the police tell you we can't arrest them because they're doing nothing but talking. So in that instance, we said, what can we do to aid, to find out, to see how we can better integrate them into the place like you and I call home? And so hence came something called transitional recreation. And that is, as they are transitioning, how do they find their recreation? Is it on Myrtle Grove Park on Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. where 50 or more men gather to just play soccer? And they've been doing it for a long time. And they are residents that grew up here as children. Or do we find a place where they could put television out and watch Sunday football together? So we started a pilot program to see how we can begin to offer and integrate a population that is generally viewed as a hazard in a place that they call home. And so when people ask, what is this about? This is about you feeling safe and not calling the police because they are sitting on a buggy under some trees. This is about us thinking outside of the box to how we are going to begin to meet the needs of these people like we're meeting the needs of everybody else, even though it's different. They matter. They mean something. And I think it's worth a try for us to pilot it for 12 months with the Circle of Brotherhood to see if we can gather and garner the information that will allow us to inculcate them into a socially acceptable environment that they call home. Now, I understand that some people might say, well, why Myrtle Grove? I'm gonna try it again. Why not Myrtle Grove? Why not have a place in the Buccaneer area on 207? Why not? It's not violent. It's not illegal. They're just men who say, hey man, and they start a conversation and they stay there together. So let us see what we can find, what we can excavate. Let's see if our community law enforcement officers can help them and they can help us solve crime. Let's see if we can develop a relationship that's productive. They deserve that because you know why? They are our brothers. They're our sons. They're fathers. More importantly, they're human beings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Vice Mayor?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think we need to do an altar call.
One more time. One more time.
But real quick, good evening. I just want to say welcome to the new members of the family. One of the funny things about it, Mr. Martin was my student when I was on the board for student government at Florida Memorial. He was my faculty advisor.
Oh.
So he oversaw us when we ran school.
He was your student.
No, when we ran the Student Government Association, he oversaw us. I want to thank.
You had your hands full with that one.
I want to thank the mayor for allowing me this leeway to be able to work on the vaccination or making sure that we're able to get shots for our residents that live here in the city of Miami Gardens. We have something going on this Saturday, and this is a moving target. It's constantly changing. So for this Saturday's vaccination, we have about 400 slots at, I think we moved it to Carroll City Park with the Vice Chairman, Oliver Gilbert. What's going on now, they've just changed the criteria so that all law enforcement of any age and all school employees of any age are now eligible to be vaccinated on Saturday. Your analysts, Latavia emailed out a spreadsheet to all of the analysts. If you have names, like I said, this is a moving target. If you have names or some of your constituents that's been calling, please fill that out and have that turned in by tomorrow so that we can forward it to the county so that they can get a spot 400 slots that we have. Again, the new criteria that we just got when I stepped outside was teachers of any age, teachers or school employees of any age, and all law enforcement of any age. And then the regular, I think it was the governor's orders is still 65 and older. So that part also. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I don't have any comments. I just wanted to, again, thank our staff for the hard work that you guys put in, and we appreciate you. And to say happy birthday to Councilwoman Wilson. Wish you all the best. And ladies rule the world. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
It's been moved, seconded. Show the meeting adjourned.
Did you get your dinner?